Okay, let me go over to the Pinnacle Glaivier first. Pinnacle Glaivier got a nerf on this X skill, which enhances other skills, and it got nerf on this red T skill. From these two nerfs, the overall nerf is around 4% damage nerf. Even though the nerf happened, the playstyle is not gonna change. It stays as the meta build, the Spec Swift build. The arc passive and also the engravings stay same. If you want to check out for the Pinnacle Glaivier build, I have a guide that I made from 5 months ago below the description. It's still valid. Make sure to check out the fixed comment on that video because every time some slight change happens, I always write it in that fixed comment. Alright, there were some people asking for a control Glaivier. Can you check it out after the balance patch and stuff? Seems like, some stuff has changed. Yeah, I looked into some Inven and Loawa to see how the Glaiviers are running. This post, by the way, looks like it has the most favoritism right now. I'm gonna cover this build as an example on this video, how Control Glaivier runs after the patch. Before I show you the skills, first of all, let me show you some of the tripod changes that happened from the patch. On a Chain Slash, we got this new tripod. First line, first one. It summons a clone. Like that. Alright, second one is on the Stampeding Slash, and there's a new tripod here. It also summons a clone, like this. This one is very lame because there's no sound effect from the clone. So we got two more skills that can summon clone. The Soul Cutter and the Blue Dragon Claw already had a clone tripod, right? Which means you can use up to 4 clone skills and that will look like a clone fiesta. Something like this. The clones are really hard to see. It's very transparent, right? And a lot of people are complaining about this part. Sadly, you're not gonna use these tripod though. On the Chain Slash, you're gonna still run this because if you see here, it's 35% increase, but this original one is 40.3% increase. Yes, it does have shorter animation. Like you can move around while the clone is attacking. But like from the research, it's not worth it to take this over this. So you stick with this for Chain Slash. Therefore, Chain Slash 3, 1, 2. For the rune, Legendary Galewind, Stampeding Slash looks like people are ditching it. I'm not sure how many people use this even before the balance patch, but yeah. They're saying that the skill itself is just so weak. So they're ditching this. You're not using this new tripod at all. For the Soul Cutter, people are running 1, 1, 2, at least from the post what I saw. And some people are saying in my chat that this is the meta because it increases more damage, right? But it seems like what's going on is that this has, a little bit shorter animation. And having shorter animation looks like it's kind of critical on the new Control Glaivier. Because another change that happened to the Control Glaivier is that the X skill no longer have 100% crit rate. They took away the guaranteed crit, and instead, they increased the X skill's damage by 22%. But now the cons of this change is that you have to put the X skill into the Shackling Blue Dragon, which might act as a restraint. For the rune, you run Judgment. This is a counter skill, lead rune, like whatever you run. This one, Half Moon Slash, Conviction with 1, 3, 2. Raging Dragon Slash, Legendary Galewind, 3, 1, 2. I think it's fine to use this one as well, the second one. Blue Dragon Claw, 2, 2, 3 with Poison. And lastly, this one, the Flash Kick. This one is controversial right now. And some people in my chat was also saying, like, why are you running this? You should run like another DPS skill to improve your ceiling. That is true. But what's going on after the patch in Korea is that, so these people tried out Lotto build, and in the real raid, even though the spacebar has short cooldown, because the cooldown, reduces every time the meter gets consumed, right? It felt handy to have another additional movement skill, is what they say. Now, the thing is, if you give this up and then, put some other stuff like Stampeding or, Will of Blade like, so on and so forth, you do increase a little bit amount of damage. According to the invent, they say like 3.8, like, 4%-ish. But rather than getting that much damage, the gameplay felt way better to have another handy movement skill. So this skill, even though it's running the tripod like this, which is a DPS tripod, people say you normally don't use it to DPS. You just keep it for literally movement skill. The rune, by the way, is running quick recharge. The two reasons why people are like giving more points to this flash kick is because, number one, because you have to squeeze in a lot of blue skills like T, X, and the other 5 DPS skills in the Shackling Blue Dragon 6 second. Whatever like DPS skill you replace over the flash kick, it's not gonna get benefit by the Shackling Blue Dragon 6 seconds crit rate, which is the reason why it only increases a little bit of damage increase. Number two, mana problem. Running another DPS skill means you're gonna use that whenever the cooldown comes back, right? Control Glaivier, if you run 6 DPS skill right now after the patch, it has a severe mana problem, even if you're running like bunch of focus and conviction judgment. So that's another reason why people are thinking flash kick, felt better, because like, again, you don't use flash kick as a DPS skill on this build, you just leave it and use it as a movement skill when you're urgent. For the arc passive, you run like this, and for the swift and crit part, you can adjust the swiftness between 24 to 26 depending on your crit rate. They say that you want the crit rate without the Shackling Blue Dragon to be around 80%. So adjust like that. With that being said, if I talk about the crit rate of the skills, Half Moon, Soul Cutter, Chain Slash, X, and T, these are like around 100% with the Shackling Blue Dragon. Blue Dragon Claw, you see that 40% crit rate tripod? Because of this, it gets full efficiency from the Bloodthorn. And the Raging Dragon, the third tripod, 25% crit rate, so full efficiency as well. For the Enlightenment, you go like this, classic setting. And for Leap, also classic setting. And this. For the Engraving, you go Ambushmaster, Raid Captain, Grudge, Curse the Adrenaline. Gem, you put all the damage gem and the cooldown gem on the 5 DPS skill. That's 5 times 2, 10, right? And the last one slot, you put cooldown on the Shackling Blue. So for the rotation, you go with Shackling, and then X, T, and in sequence, WERAS. That's one rotation. You leave these two situational. So if I show you, build the Adrenaline stacks first. Shackling, X, T, and then Conviction, Judgment, and then this. And then when these comes back, use it like that. These two skill, E and R. And then when it comes back, Q, W, E, R. Forgot to use the X. And then when the E and R is back, use it. And then Q, E. Like something like this. The rotation for control is not like completely fixed, right? But the point is, you want to use the strong skills when the cooldown comes back. That's it. Lastly, if I tell you the review of the control Glaiviers, this patch is a huge letdown. Basically, they got around 10% damage buff, which sound huge, right? But what they don't like is that the playstyle didn't change at all. The X skill crit rate got took away, but at least it got exchanged with the damage, which is good. But you have to use that in the Shackling Blue Dragon, which is a restraint, which, hinders the flexibility of the rotation in the real raid. Not just that, Control Glaivier's skill tripod has a lot of bugs. Those clone tripods from those, 4 skills? Seldomly, the clone attacks backward, which do Z DPS. And lastly, they don't like the visual effect and the sound effect of the Control Glaivier skill. So the sound effect, like all these sound effect from the Control Glaivier, they say that it feels like, you're not slashing with the Gigachad Glaive. It's like you're slashing with a paper, if that makes sense. That's how they feel. And for the visual effect, those clone tripod that the developer is trying to push hard on this balance patch, people don't understand why they're persistent with the clone concept for the Control Glaivier. clone has nothing to do with the martial artist Glaivier, they say. It's more like some magician summoner. At least if the clone's visual effect was better, then they would have not complained. But as you see, the clone effect, guys, it's not good, right? It's so like pale, like transparent, you can't see. So these kind of like, lacking like visual and sound effect leads to the class being boring. So that's what they're mad about right now. And most of the people are saying even with the damage increase, there's no great advantage to play control. People are still recommending to play Pinnacle even though that build got like around 4% nerf. If this patch comes to West, who knows? Maybe someone can come up with better utility and a better DPS. Until then, stay giga shit. Spam noted. Peace out.